You're watching Champ Week on ESPN from the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, Texas, about 30 miles away from the campus of UNT. The Mean Green take on Old Dominion in Conference USA Women's first round action. Bracket update presented by Air Force Reserve. Already underway over on Court A. Florida International taking on Southern Miss. Right here on Court B, the Mean Green and the Monarchs for the right to face Charlotte tomorrow. Chris Mycoskie alongside Kyle Youmans, and ODU got here, Kyle, with a balanced scoring attack.
No doubt about that. 15 plus from 4 different players. This is an ODU team that's pretty shallow when it comes to the bench. They only play 6 or 7 girls throughout the course of a game. That going into overtime allowed these 4 to really shine. But for North Texas, the shining light comes from Quincy Noble, Conference USA first team all-conference and averaging just under 18 points per game. She is a bona fide scorer. She's top 5 in points per game, the second best three-point percentage in the conference, and she's top 5 in free throws as well.
These teams were scheduled to meet January 22nd and 23rd in the regular season. Those games canceled. ODU leads the all-time series 8-4, and the Monarchs have won the last 2. Quick fire three-pointer off the mark by Victoria Morris. Starting 5 for North Texas is the same as it was last time they hit the floor, which was a 75-66 win over the top seed from the Western Division, the Rice Owls.
Top seed and defending champions in the conference. That was an impressive win for Coach Jaylee Mitchell's squad. It was kind of the capping off of what was one of the better regular seasons in program history.
Old Dominion needed an overtime win, 83-77 over Western Kentucky yesterday. A game that they trailed by as many as 12 points.
You look at Old Dominion, they have their legs underneath them because they got to play a game yesterday. Now, with it going to overtime and with the quick turnaround, is there going to be a little bit of a lax here? Because the Monarchs want to get up and they want to run. Push the pace, pedal to the metal is exactly what you're going to see from Delisha Milton-Jones' squad tonight.
Both teams 0 for 3 shooting to begin this ball game. Scoreless with 8:40 remaining in the first quarter. Turnover by the Monarchs, going the direction of the Mean Green. Head coach of ODU in her first season, Delisha Milton-Jones.
And 2-time Olympic gold medalist, former head coach at Pepperdine. She left that position to become an assistant at Syracuse before making her way to Old Dominion. And though it's been a tough year for the Monarchs after being the 2nd seed in last year's conference tournament, they have found a bit of a rhythm as of late with 3 straight wins.
Quincy Noble, the first to score. She has a team-leading 17.8 points per game for UNT. Milton-Jones, a 3-time WNBA All-Star, 2-time champion. And she had an interesting process to get here to ODU. We'll tell you more about that as we go forward. The head coach of North Texas is Jaylee Mitchell, the best to ever play for the Mean Green, all-time leading scorer, and her number 44 hangs from the rafters at the Super Pit. Shot clock violation by the Monarchs.
Man, you're talking about Jaylee Mitchell and the way that she's improved this team and this program from the time that she arrived, or I guess went back to Denton is probably the best way to describe it. Came up through the Texas coaching staff down in Austin and then took over North Texas back in 2015. 4-year all-conference player during her playing days, and like you said, the best that North Texas has seen on the floor.
Jazzion Jackson can't hit with the left hand. Foul committed, and it'll be Old Dominion possession.
If you're North Texas, this is a game where you look at the matchup and it's a little bit tougher than what you would normally see from a 3 seed and a 6 seed. This is an Old Dominion team that has dealt with depth issues. They've dealt with injuries over their 2021 campaign. And even though there's only 7 conference wins there, this is a very talented squad. We talked about that with the 4 scorers from last night's ball game. If they're not careful and they catch fire, this North Texas defense could be on their heels early.
Rattles around and falls out for Victoria Morris, all-conference 2nd team pick. On the other end, Jazzion Jackson gets her first 2.
Jackson and Noble, Two of those guards for North Texas that are so efficient with the basketball. Jackson scores just over 40% of the time, where Noble is over 42%. Each of those numbers leading the team. And for guards to lead the team in that category, that shows a lot about the way they pick their shots.
Amari Young pulls up from the low post to hit. On low post on the other end, Rochelle Lee. She's been solid for North Texas since getting into the starting lineup.
6'3" Memphis, Tennessee native, and like you said, earned her way into the starting lineup a couple weeks ago, or it seems like months ago now, because she seems like a veteran down low. She's very confident with the basketball in her hands, and you can see it on plays like that. That's going to be a height mismatch that ODU is going to have to deal with through this game.
Adams misses, but Wayne with the offensive rebound puts it back. The junior out of Birmingham.
That's one of the things that's also fun about this Old Dominion team, is they may not have the height, but they are really good at rebounding the basketball. Fourth in the conference in offensive rebounds per game. They fight for those boards.
6-4 UNT over ODU coming up on the midway point in the first quarter. Long pass down to Wayne. Rolls in.
One thing that Coach Milton Jones talked about when Asia Wayne came to the forefront is she gets the job done, a lunch pail type of player.
Wayne had 16 points yesterday in their preliminary round win over Western Kentucky. Ball gets away. First turnover committed by North Texas, and Morris from free throw extended left.
This is exactly what Old Dominion wants to do. They want to force turnovers on the defensive end. Once they get a stop, push it. Go down in transition. Have some outlet passes if you need to, but don't be afraid to pull up from the mid-range if it's open.
6-0 run by the Monarchs over the last minute. And North Texas can't connect. Adams pulls up top of the key. Off the mark, fight for it down low. Quincy Noble. Season high 10 rebounds for her back on February 26th against Marshall. Spin move denied by Adams. ODU running again. Wayne met by Lee. Old Dominion, fresh off an overtime win over Western Kentucky. They are running and gunning against the 3 seed from the West, North Texas. Monarchs lead by 2.